Hello students, this is RK sir, lecturer in chemistry. In my previous videos I have completed electrochemistry and amines topics. In today's class, that is lecture number 1, I will start with a solutions topic. According to our PUC board, total 9 hours given to this solution topic as well as total 7 marks are allotted. Then how 7 marks are allotted means question number 1 is 1 mark, question number 2 exactly is also 1 mark, and question number 28 is 5 marks. And of course there is no direct 5 marks question in our chemistry, that's why question number 28 A is 3 marks, B is 2 marks, or there is instead of 2 marks 1 mark also he may give. But anyhow total 7 marks, 9 hours are given to this solutions topic, right? Then before we'll going to start the solutions topic, first we'll define exactly what is solution. Very simple. Suppose if you take one container, in that container I have taken 1 liter water. 1 liter water I have taken. To that 1 liter water some salt has added. Salt, some 2-3 grams of salt has added. By stirring you will get a complete liquid is obtained. That obtained liquid is called as a solution. That obtained liquid is called as a solution. How to define now solution? Very simple. Solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more chemically non-reacting substances. I'll repeat. Solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more chemically non-reacting substances is called as, of course, a solution. Now question arises here. What is a homogeneous mixture? What is meant by homogeneous mixture? Very simple. Then salt has added to this water and the salt has completely dissolved in water. Then what is meant by homogeneous mixture means entire the area, entire the solution, its composition as well as its property will be same. Its composition, its property will be same. Means if you take like 1 drop of solution from here, you will feel same taste. From here also you will feel same taste. From here also you will feel same taste only, no difference at all. That is only called as a homogeneous mixture. Once again, how to define solution then? Homogeneous mixture of 2 or more chemically non-reacting substances is called as a solution, right? Then suppose in a solution only 2 components are present. Only 2 components are present, then that solution is called as a binary solution. Only 2 components are present is called as a binary solution. Only 3 components are present, it is called as a ternary solution. Ternary solution. Suppose 4 components are present, it is called as a quaternary solution. I'll repeat. If only 2 components are present, a binary solution. 3 components are present, a ternary solution, and 4 components are present, quaternary solution. Right. Now in the solution topic, then first of all we have to learn mainly 2 things. What are those 2 things means? One is, see here, one is solute and other one is solvent. If you merge them, if you mix them, you will get a solution. Solute plus solvent will give a solution. Now we have to define what is a solute, what is a solvent. Very simple. Solute. Same example again we'll use. Then previously we have taken a 1 liter water. 1 liter water has taken. In that 1 liter water, like 2-3 grams of salt or sugar has added. Then in this, what is a solute, what is a solvent is required. Very simple. In that mixture, whose quantity is very small, whose quantity is small, that is called as a solute. That's why the solution which contains a smaller amount of substance, smaller amount of substance is called as a solute. Less amount, smaller amount of substance is called as smaller amount of substance is called as solution, solute. And then a solvent. solvent. Then salt as well as water we have added. Salt, water. In that water quantity is more. Large quantity amount, large quantity substance is called as solvent. Larger amount, larger quantity, larger amount of substance is called as solvent. I'll repeat. Smaller amount of substance is called as a solute. Larger amount of substance is called as a solvent. Or in another manner, how to define? Another manner how to define means suppose same like container, water has taken 1 liter water and some 2 grams of sugar or salt has added. By stirring we are getting a solution. We are getting a solution. In that solution it contains sugar as well as water. Now sugar is a solid state, water is a liquid state. I'll repeat. Sugar is a solid state, water is a liquid state. After mixing obtained solution physical state if you observe, obtained solution physical state if you observe, obtained solutions physical state is liquid. Obtained solutions physical state is liquid. That's why then how to define a solute and a solvent means after mixing the substances, then whose physical state will come, whose physical state is obtained, that is called as solvent. After mixing of the substances, whose physical state is obtained, that is called as solvent. That's why whose physical state is obtained, water physical state is obtained here. Because water is a liquid state, our obtained solution is also liquid state only. Water physical state has obtained, that's why water is called as a solvent. Whose physical state is obtained, that substance is called as a solvent. Right, it is one type of expression, what is a solute and what is a solvent. Next I'll give you one more example regarding solute as well as solvent. One more example, that is 180 grams of urea plus 90 grams of water has taken, has mixed. In this, which is a solute, which is a solvent, we have to identify then. We have to identify. See here, generally what we will expect then, here it is 180 grams, it is 90 grams. 180 grams, 90 grams, 180 means it is of course more quantity, 90 less quantity. Means what we will think then? More quantity means 180 grams of urea we are expecting as a solvent and 90 grams of water, smaller amount of water we are expecting as a solute, but that is absolutely wrong. I'll repeat. 180 grams generally will assume it is a large amount, that's why we'll consider it as a solvent. 90 is a smaller amount, that's why we'll consider it as a solute. According to our definition, smaller amount is called as a solute, larger amount is called as a solvent. But that is wrong. Why it is wrong? Why it is wrong means, see here, just by seeing the quantities we cannot guess, we cannot tell which is a solvent and which is solute. Here important point is smaller amount means, please try to remember, smaller amount means smaller number of moles should be considered. I'll repeat. Less amount means less moles substance is a solute. More amount means more moles of substance is called as a solvent. Small amount is nothing but less moles substance is a solute. High amount, larger amount means larger moles of substance should be considered as a solvent. See here, we will turn into moles. We are converting in terms of moles. Then what is the formula of moles? Number of moles equal to mass by molar mass, nothing but molecular mass. How much mass has given? 180 grams has given, divided by molar mass of urea 60, just 3 moles only. Come here. Then number of moles of water, mass 90 grams by molar mass of water is 18 grams. 18 5s are, that is a 5 moles of water. That's why here 180 grams of urea is nothing but just 3 moles only, but 90 grams of water means 5 moles are coming. Now we have to decide which is a solute, which is a solvent. Less moles substance is considered as a solute, more moles substance is considered as a solvent. This is a important point, remember. Less amount is nothing but less moles, more amount is nothing but more moles substance should be considered as solvent. One more example we'll see here. (300 grams of urea plus 684 grams of sucrose plus 180 grams of water. See here 3 components are present in the solution. That's why it is a ternary solution, remember. 2 components are present, it is a binary solution. 3 components are present, it is a ternary. It is absolutely ternary solution, right? Now here, which is a solute, which is a solvent, we have to identify. Generally, what we will expect? 684, oh, more amount solvent, like that we will tell, but that is absolutely wrong. Again, we'll convert into its corresponding moles. See here, number of moles of urea, mass by molar mass. 300 divided by 60 molar mass of urea. Urea formula NH2CO NH2 is urea formula. Okay, molar mass is 60. Just 5 moles only. 0 0 cancel. 6 5 is 30. Next, number of moles of sucrose. Sucrose C12 H22O11 sugar sucrose. Then the number of moles. Mass 684 divided by its molar mass is 342. If you want, you can calculate. Its molar mass is 342. Then just 2 moles only we are getting. Then remember 2 moles. And next, number of moles of water, mass by molar mass 180 by 18. 18 tens are 10 moles. That's it. Now, urea 5 moles and sucrose just 2 moles only. Water is 10 moles. You can easily guess which is a solute, which is solvent. Out of 3 components, remember, out of 3 components, water only acting as a solvent. Remember, water is a solvent. Water is a solvent, and remaining these 2 components are considered as a solute. These 2 are solute. Okay, because of less number of moles it is a solute, because of more number of moles it is called as a solvent. Like that we can differentiate what is a solute, what is a solvent. One simplest example I'll give you. Simplest example is suppose 10 ml alcohol, 10 ml alcohol, 90 ml of water, 90 ml of water, which is a solute, which is a solvent, means definitely less amount. If you want, you can convert into moles also. Again, it will get a less moles, it will get a more moles only. You can convert, doesn't matter. Or directly it is a 10 milliliters, it is a 90 milliliters. 10 milliliters substance is considered as a solute, and 90 milliliters substance is considered as a solvent. It is one example. Or one more example, suppose exactly same, 50 milliliters of alcohol, plus 50 milliliters of water have taken. Come on, tell me, which is a solute, which is a solvent? Both are 50-50 only, and if you see both moles also, you will get same only. In this case, which is solute, which is solvent means any one is considered as a solute and any one is considered as a solvent. No restriction here. 50-50 only. Anyone is considered as a solute, anyone is considered as a solvent. Doesn't matter. Right. Next, we'll see. What is a dilute solution? What is a dilute solution? And what is a concentrated solution? Of course, concentrated solution. What is a diluted solution? What is a concentrated solution? I'll give you one example. Always remember, solution means solvent quantity should be more. Quantity means in terms of any, like moles or mass, whatever it may be. That means solvent quantity should be more. First, I'll explain about a dilute solution. Here, of course, I have taken 1 liter water only. Here also I have taken 1 liter water only. Then here I have added 5 grams of salt has added in this 1 liter water, and by stirring you will get a solution. Here I have added 10 grams of salt has added same in 1 liter. Solvent quantity has not changed, remember. Solvent quantity has not changed, as well as solvent quantity is more comparing with the solute in both the cases. Now, how to define a dilute solution, how to define concentrated solution is big question mark. Very simple. Here solute amount is less, here a solute amount relatively more. Comparatively this one it is more. That's why how to define dilute solution means a solution in which less concentrated solute or solute concentration is less, that is called as a dilute solution. I'll repeat, a solution in which concentration of solute is less, that is called as a dilute solution. And what is a concentrated solution? Means a solution in which relatively more concentrated of solute is present is called as a concentrated solution. I'll repeat, relatively less amount of solute and relatively more amount of solute, then it is a dilute solution, it is a concentrated solution. Okay, next we'll discuss about, or we can say that a solution which contains relatively low concentration of solute, relatively high concentrated of solute, that's it. One is dilute, one is concentrated solution. Next we will go to 3 types of solutions. One is unsaturated solution, and second one is saturated solution, and third one is super saturated solution. Unsaturated, saturated, super saturated solution. All 3 solutions definitions will discuss clearly now. See here. Suppose one container has taken, say it is 1 liter water, of course, 1 liter water. Its capacity means its maximum solubility is suppose 10 grams. 10 grams of salt it can dissolve maximum. Just imagine, its maximum solubility is 10 grams, imagine. But what I am doing now, instead of 10 grams, only 2 grams of salt has added into this 1 liter solution. Only 2 grams of solute, salt nothing but solute, has added into this solvent. Water is nothing but solvent. You will get one solution. That solution is called as unsaturated solution. Unsaturated means still 8 grams it can dissolve because its capacity is up to 10 grams, remember. But we have added only 2 grams. Still some more solute can be dissolved in it. That type of that type of solution is called as unsaturated solution. A solution in which some more solute, a solution in which some more solute can be dissolved is called as unsaturated solution. Then saturated solution. Regarding saturated solution, see here carefully. Exactly, again 1 liter of water has taken. 1 liter water has taken, and its capacity is, its solubility capacity is 10 grams, suppose 10 grams of salt. Now what I am doing means exactly 10 grams of salt has added. 10 means 10 grams has added. By stirring, you will get a solution, of course. You will get a solution. Up to here, there is no problem. Next, what I am doing, just 0.1 gram extra if I added 0.1 or 0.2 grams after a dissolution of 10 grams of salt in 1 liter water. Extra 0.2 grams of solute, nothing but salt has added in the same solution. What happens? I'll repeat. Initially 10 grams salt has added in 1 liter solution. Then happily the 10 grams has dissolved. Okay now, its capacity is 10 grams only. Then what I am doing now, extra 0.2 grams of solute I am adding into the same solution. What happens? Means that extra solute will come and deposit at the bottom of the container. See here one important point. Important point is, whatever the extra amount we are adding, that amount seems to be going and depositing at the bottom. But really, whatever the substance deposited, that amount and this amount, this substance are not same. Seems to be same. Really they are not same. Once again, whatever the extra amount we are adding, whatever the extra salt we are adding, that salt seems to be going and depositing at the bottom of the container. But really this salt is not coming and depositing. Then from where this salt is coming? Yeah, correct. Where this salt is coming means whatever the extra substance we are adding, that extra substance is going and dissolving in the solution. Because already it reached saturation level or not. That's why what happens, whatever the amount of substance dissolved, same amount of substance from the solution is crystallizing here. I'll repeat. Whatever the extra amount we are adding, that extra amount is going and dissolving, remember. And already dissolved substance is crystallizing. That stage only called as equilibrium stage. Means in saturated solution, equilibrium stage existed. Where at equilibrium stage existed? Means after reached its saturation level. Because 10 grams capacity, 10 grams has added. If extra amount added, what happens? Extra amount is dissolving, no doubt. Extra amount is dissolving. At the same time, already dissolved amount is crystallizing. Means at equilibrium what happens? Rate of dissolution is equals to rate of crystallization. Rate of dissolution of extra salt. Rate of dissolution of salt is equals to rate of crystallization. Rate of crystallization of already dissolved state. Already dissolved salt. then this happens only, remember, in saturated solution. That's why how to define here means here actually what happened, already 10 grams deposited, already 10 grams dissolved, means maximum amount of solute already dissolved, maximum amount of substance already dissolved. After that, if you add any extra amount, that extra amount seems to be deposited at the bottom, but extra amount is not coming and depositing here. Extra amount is dissolving in the solution, and at the same time already dissolved salt is coming and crystallizing. Nothing but an equilibrium has established between rate of dissolution and rate of crystallization. That's why how to define saturated solution means a solution which contains maximum amount of solute. A solution which contains maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in the given amount of solvent to establish a dynamic equilibrium between undissolved solute and dissolved solute at a particular temperature. Once again, how to define saturated solution? A solution which contains a maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in the given amount of solvent to establish a dynamic equilibrium between undissolved solute and dissolved solute at a particular temperature is called as saturated solution. How to define unsaturated solution? A solution in which some more solute can be dissolved at a particular temperature is called as unsaturated solution. Now we will go to supersaturated solution. Once again, remember, in saturated solution only, dynamic equilibrium is existing. That's why we have used the word dynamic equilibrium existing between rate of dissolution and rate of crystallization. How much dissolved, same amount will be crystallizing. Okay, right. Now we will go to supersaturated solution. What is a supersaturated solution? Again, we will take 1 liter water sample, 1 liter water. In that 1 liter, its capacity already known to you, say 10 grams. 10 grams of salt can be dissolved easily, its capacity, it's a solubility capacity. Now what I am doing, by increasing the temperature, remember, by increasing the temperature, some more salt has dissolved. Instead of 10 grams, 15 grams of salt has dissolved in the given amount of solvent at a high temperature is called as a supersaturated solution. Its saturation purpose only 10 grams needed, but we have added extra 5 grams, means total we have added 15 grams. That's why a solution which contains a large amount of solute, a solution which contains a large amount of solute than required for the saturation. A solution which contains a large amount of solute than required for the saturation. Because saturation purpose only 10 grams needed, but we have added 15 grams extra we have added at high temperature is called as a supersaturated solution. Right. 3 types of solutions we have discussed. Then one is unsaturated solution, one is a saturated solution, one is a supersaturated solution. Okay, right. Next we will discuss about what is aqueous solution and non-aqueous solution. Aqueous solution, non-aqueous solution, non-aqueous solution, aqueous solution, non-aqueous solution. How to define aqueous solution and a non-aqueous solution? Very simple. A solution in which water is acting as a solvent is called as aqueous solution. A solution in which other than water is acting as a solvent is called as non-aqueous solution. If a water is solvent, aqueous, other than water is solvent is a non-aqueous solution. Water solvent, other than water solvent, that's it. Other than water, nothing but any ether, benzene, etc. Right. Next, we'll here one important thing is say it is a solution. Suppose 1 liter water has taken, in that salt has added by stirring, salt has dissolved, we are getting a solution. One is a solute salt and solvent is water. By mixing we are getting a solution. Important thing is from that solution it is not possible to separate the components just by using simple physical methods. I'll repeat. After dissolution of salt in water, again it is not possible to remove salt particles from the water just by using a simple physical method like filtration, etc. Means both the components are not possible to separate just by using simple physical methods. Right. Next depending on, remember, depending on physical state of solute and solvent, depending on physical state of solute and solvent, solutions are classified into total 9 types. This is the important point. Depending on physical state of solute and solvent, solutions are classified into 9 types. Means we have total 9 types of solutions. Remember, solutions are total 9 types. Now I'll explain all 9 types of solutions. See here we'll take a type of solution you can say, and in that what is a solute and what is a solvent and its corresponding example. Right. Depending on physical state of both solute as well as a solvent, total 9 types of solutions are there. Now in that first type we'll discuss, that is solid solutions. Solid solution, remember, always remember, solution means don't expect always in the liquid state. I'll repeat, solution is not always in the liquid state. Solution may in solid state as well as a solution may in a gaseous state also. That is very important point. Don't expect always in the liquid state only. It may solid. Now I'll give you first I will discuss about a solid solution. Solid solution means that solution is in a solid state, solid form only. Right. Here important point is, in solid solutions, solvent should be in solid state. Important point. In solid solutions, solvent should be in solid state only. Now 3 times solid I am writing. Why 3 times I am writing? Means different examples I'll give you now. How? First, solid solution is nothing but solvent is fixed, solid. But solute may change. Solute may be solid, solute may be liquid, solute may be gas. I'll repeat, solute may be solid, solute may be liquid, solute may be gas. But solvent is always a solid, because we are discussing solid solution. In solid solution, solvent is in solid state only, fixed. Suppose solute also solid state only. We can call it as solid in solid. Solid in solid means small solid is mixed in large solid. I'll repeat, it is one large solid. In that small solid, it is a small solid has mixed. Small solid has mixed in large solid and becomes homogeneous mixture. Solution means homogeneous mixture compulsory should form. Homogeneous mixture already known to you. Means anywhere if you see its properties as well as its composition should be same, right? Solid in solid we'll call it as solid in solid. Examples are alloys, mixed metals like copper in gold is example for alloy, copper in gold, right? Next, liquid in solid, small liquid, because the solute amount is small, solvent amount is large. Liquid, small liquid present in large solvent. Example is sodium amalgam, NaHG. Sodium amalgam. Amalgam is Hg, mercury, small amount. Sodium is a metal, large amount. Small amount of mercury present in large amount of sodium. Sodium amalgam. Next, gas in solid. Gas in solid. Gas in solid, how to tell means here adsorption of hydrogen gas on nickel metal or platinum metal, palladium metal, etc. Adsorption of hydrogen gas on platinum or palladium or nickel. We will write here platinum, palladium or nickel. Anyone you can take, doesn't matter. These are the solid solution types. I'll repeat. Solid solution is again 3 types. Solid, insolid, liquid, insolid, gas, insolid. Everywhere solvent is solid only, but solute is changing. Okay. Solid in solid alloys, liquid in solid amalgam, and gas in solid is adsorption. Adsorption you have learned in surface chemistry topic. Adsorption of hydrogen gas on any metal like platinum, palladium, nickel, etc. Now we will go to second one, liquid solution. Liquid solution. You can guess. Liquid solution means compulsory solvent should be in the liquid state. Liquid. Liquid solution means solvent should be in the liquid state, no doubt. Again, solute may change again. How? Solid in liquid, liquid in liquid, gas in liquid. First we'll see solid in liquid. Small amount of solid is present in large amount of liquid. Already known to you. Salt in water, sugar in water. Like small amount of salt in water, small amount of sugar in water. Salt solution, otherwise salt solution we can call. Salt solution. Next, liquid in liquid. Small amount of one liquid has mixed in large amount of another liquid. This already familiar to you. That is alcohol in water. Small amount of alcohol is mixed in a large amount of water. Next, gas in liquid. Gas in liquid purpose will take O2, oxygen in water. Oxygen in water we can take, or carbon dioxide in water, nothing but soda water. Carbon dioxide in water. Carbon dioxide is a gas in water, right? These are the examples of liquid solutions. Solid solution, liquid solutions are completed. Then we'll go to gaseous solutions, because solution don't expect always in liquid state. Solutions may be solid state, solutions may be liquid state, even solutions may be gaseous state. Now we'll go to gaseous solution. Gaseous solution we'll see. Number 3. You can guess now. In gaseous solution, solvent should be in gaseous state. Solvent should be in the gaseous state. Whatever the name we are using, that name should be in the solvent. That name should be as a solvent. Gaseous solution means solvent is gas, but solute may be changed like solid in gas, a liquid in gas as well as a gas in gas. Solid in gas, liquid in gas, gas in gas. We'll take its appropriate examples. Solid in gas. Solid in gas purpose example is camphor. Camphor vapors. Camphor or camphor vapors in nitrogen gas. Camphor vapors in nitrogen gas is example for solid in gas. Because solid amount is less, gas amount is more. Camphor amount is less, nitrogen amount is more. Next, liquid in gas. Liquid in gas purpose will take here chloroform liquid in nitrogen gas again. Chloroform in nitrogen gas or a chloroform mixed in nitrogen gas. Chloroform is a liquid, nitrogen is a gas. It is a solute. It is a solvent. Next, gas in gas. Gas in gas purpose mixture of O2 and N2. Mixture of O2 and N2. O2 N2 is example for gas in gas solution. That's it. That's why based on the physical state of both solute as well as a solvent, 9 types of solutions are there. In solid solution 3 types, liquid solutions 3 types as well as gaseous solutions also 3 types only. Okay, right. Next. Next, we'll discuss about what is because solution lesson. In solution lesson, maximum places will use concentration term. Concentration. What is actually concentration is a question mark. What is concentration means? Solute, solvent is giving a solution. It's already known to you. What is the concentration means? The relative amount of solute. The relative amount of solute means in concentration, in maximum cases will measure solute amount only. The relative amount of solute present in solvent or solution is called as concentration. I'll repeat. The relative amount of solute. The relative amount of solute is present in solvent or solution is called as concentration. Means in concentration concept will calculate maximum solute amount only. The relative amount of solute in the solvent or solution is called concentration. Right. Now in our lesson we'll discuss about concentration expressing terms. Concentration expressing terms. Concentration expressing terms means we have to calculate concentration. For that purpose, we'll use some terms, concentration expressing terms. Here again, concentration expressing terms are 2 types. What are those 2 types? Means one is temperature dependent terms. Temperature dependent terms, and number 2 temperature independent. Temperature independent terms are there. 2 types of concentration expressing terms are there. Temperature dependent terms generally includes volume. If volume is there, it depends on the temperature. Then suppose temperature independent terms contains mass. If that expression contains mass, it does not depends on temperature. If a volume term is there, it depends on the temperature. If a mass term is there, it does not depends on temperature. Right. Now, what are temperature dependent terms? What are temperature independent terms? We'll discuss clearly. Number one, temperature dependent terms. We'll see that. That is a volume. Volume should present in that. Yeah. Number one is volume. Volume percentage, or we can say volume to volume. We'll write a V by V percentage. V by V percentage, volume percentage. And the second one is mass by volume percentage. Mass by volume percentage. We'll write W by V percentage. Here small v divided by capital V. We'll see what is small v, what is capital V, everything we'll discuss. Small w by capital W. And because here volume is there, it depends on the temperature. If temperature changes, volume changes. Volume changes, expression, this formula also, this value also will change. Next, our known concept of molarity and normality. Molarity, normality. Next one is parts per million. Parts per million we can measure in the different expression terms, in that in W by V and V by V. That's it. And next one is formality. Formality. These are the expression terms which depends on the temperature. Next means everywhere volume term will be there. I'll explain. All concentration expression terms will learn clearly, detailed manner, no problem. Okay. Next, second one is temperature independent terms. Independent terms. Temperature independent terms includes just mass only. Again, number one, mass percentage. Mass percentage is nothing but W by W percentage, small w by capital W. Second one, mole fraction. We are indicating with like X symbol, mole fraction. Third one, molality. 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 And next one is parts per million. Already parts per million we have written here or not? Yes, because parts per million we can express in the different units. Parts per million in W by V, in V by V, both are temperature dependent. Here parts per million in W by W I am taking. W by W, that's it. These are the temperature independent terms. Okay. Now all these concentration terms we have to discuss in this lesson, right? But while explaining, I will not explain in the like this category type. I will mix them and I will explain. Just for easy purpose, I will mix them and I will explain. While explaining, again I will tell you which is temperature dependent and which is temperature independent also. Will start anyone, temperature dependent or temperature independent, anyone we can start, because I'll mix them. I'll mix all the concentration terms and I'll explain. Okay, we'll take volume percentage. What is volume percentage? Volume percentage, number one. Small v divided by capital V percentage. Yeah, what is volume percentage? What is volume percentage? V by V. Very simple. volume of solute. Small v indicating a solute, capital V indicating a solution, not solvent. Remember, volume of solute in milliliters. Volume of solute in milliliters divided by volume of solution in milliliters into 100, because we are finding percentage. This is the formula for volume percentage. I'll repeat, volume of solute in milliliters divided by volume of solution in milliliters into 100. Volume of solute will be indicated with a small v, divided by volume of solution will indicate with a capital V. Therefore, V by V into 100. Now, based on this formula, we'll solve just one or two problems. Okay, and we'll continue next concept. Okay, first I'll give you one simple question based on this concept. Question, see here once again, volume of solute in milliliters divided by volume of solution in milliliters into 100. Question is like this: calculate the percentage by volume, nothing but volume percentage, when 20 milliliters of HCl is dissolved in 80 ml of solvent to form 100 ml of solution of HCl is the question mark. Please try to understand the question. Calculate percentage by volume percentage, V by V percentage we have to calculate. When 20 milliliters of HCl, less amount, is dissolved in 80 milliliters of solvent. Okay, 20 milliliters of HCl is acting as a solute. 80 milliliters of solvent has already given to form 100 milliliters of solution. 100 milliliters of course, HCl solution. Now, to this data, we have to calculate volume percentage. Very simple. Formula is there. V divided by V percentage, volume percentage. Volume of solute in the milliliters. What is volume of solute? HCl is volume of solute in milliliters already. That's why 20 divided by volume of solution in milliliters. Volume of solution. What is a solution? 80 is not solution. 80 milliliters is a solvent to form 100 milliliters. That's why we'll write 100 into anyhow 100 only. 100 cancel. We'll get a 20% is our answer. That's it. This is volume percentage definition, formula, and its corresponding one problem. Okay, right? Remaining concentration expressing terms will continue in our next class. Thank you for watching. Bye.